Hello, and welcome to an honest walkthrough and review of Elements Kepler 2 by 0G. This is a massive hybrid scoring toolkit. The amount of just different sounds that you get with this from an absolute plethora of synth sounds, rhythms, textures, drums, vocals, strings, other weird and wonderful textures, mallets, keys, percussion. You've got drum loops, you've got one shots, you've got whooshes, you've got risers. Honestly, it really is a toolkit of just about everything you can imagine. What surprised me so much was just how easy it was to use as well and create a big trailer-esque sound very quickly. The little video you saw at the beginning, I had a lot of fun making, but the score took an hour or so, and I was just surprised at how quickly and easily it was to get such a cool and epic sound. Now bear in mind, this library will require the full version of Kontakt and will set you back $149.95. That's excluding VAT, but there is a 15% intro price. Now if you already own Kepler 1, sadly I never had the chance to check it out. It'll only cost you $50 for the upgrade, and with that you're getting 17 gigabytes of new samples, a brand new GUI and the new synth designer, as well as a new string instrument with bow in motion technology. You can skip to those portions of the video if you're already familiar with this product, but let's just get stuck in, because in all honesty there's over 1,000 presets. We're barely going to be able to scratch the surface, thus the little track I did at the beginning, and now the absolute mashup of sounds we're going to go through. What I love so much about the Instant Cues is they are exactly what they say on the tin. They're instant, they're quick. I feel they need no further processing than what you can do within this plugin. They sound absolutely amazing straight out of a cinematic trailer, and they're just quick and easy to throw in. You've got over 100 of them as well. You can pitch them however you like. They're just some really great clean loops. core 1 layers, low multi-layers and high multi-layers. You've got a really nice variety of textures, and rhythms great for supplementing melodies that you already have, but just some really great high quality sounds that, again, I feel just don't need any processing. If anything, you probably need to turn them down a little bit, but such a great variety of sounds. The aggressive presets are exactly what they say on the tin. These massive epic sounds. One thing I did particularly notice going through these ones though is they are a little bit on the CPU heavy side, so bear that in mind if you have an older or weaker computer. Are just tied to one note, but really nice illumination quality. Nevertheless, you do have a total of 30 presets there, and you've got some really nice deep booms. You do have other percussion sections as well, the further we go, and some booms and rises. But moving on to our one shots. A nice range of more traditional percussion, especially if you want to make your own beats. I really like the folk percussion, some really nice organic sounds there. But moving swiftly on to our vocal pedals, these get interesting. absolutely love these vocal pedals, but I had to tone my performance down ever so slightly because, again, we've got some CPU spikage. You might have noticed it in the top corner over here. So do be aware, again, with these ones, CPU heavy, and I have got a beefy computer, and all I'm doing is a screen recording. I've got an instant of Kontakt open. Now, moving on to our guitars. Now, moving on to the synth designer, as with most of them, you have a one layer and a multi-layer. You've quite literally got 100 presets with everything from electric drums, guitars, synth designs, plucks, simple keys. And of course, you can go in, click here to really affect the attack, sustain, decay, and release of that particular sound, and all those other settings. But you just have a plethora of tools to shape the sound how you want to. I absolutely love that. And we're really not even going to get a chance to go into the nitty gritty of this library. There's just that much content. Honestly, it's hard to comprehend the amount of content that is in this library and the variety of sounds that there are. It's taken me 2 hours of recording, which is a new record, to get to this point for me, and we haven't even gone through these sounds yet, just to get through the presets. Now, the textures are definitely my favorite. There are some questionable ones in there which aren't really my taste, but there are others that are just instant cues for me, especially within those textures. Absolutely gorgeous. The quality is exceptional, and for the price tag, I feel you're getting an absolute deal. It really is a toolkit. That is what this is. Think of a toolkit full of screwdrivers and wrenches and this, that, and just random bits. And even that one tool that you only use for that one exact thing, this library has it all. This massive toolkit of sounds that I absolutely love, and there's definitely something here for everybody. Now that we've touched a little bit on all the presets, I think the place you'll find yourself going the most once you get used to this library is probably these hybrid instruments here. You've got your 3 different designer. The core designer has over 400 multi-sample sound elements for crafting rhythmic and organic sequences. Your texture designer is for creating evolving organic textures with a strong cinematic impact. And then your synth designer, exactly what it says on the tin, designing different synth tones and keys. So your three main designers are back here. And then you have those interesting bows in motion sound and your Kepler Bass there down at the bottom. Your one-shots, again, it's all your little bits and bobs there for your one-shot sounds, signatures. The organic Braams are fun, and then Braams right at the end. And then, of course, they've given you some Wooshes. You've already seen some, and then a couple of extra vocals. Now, I've clicked on this one specifically because you can quite literally design your own ceremonial mantra simply by clicking on one of these sounds. You can then change it to whatever you want it to be. There's also a nice random button as well, and then simply clicking C, it will chant it. You've got room, delay. You get some really cool sounds going. And of course, you can skip to different parts of it as well, but that is super cool and interesting. And then, of course, your vocal scripts, which we didn't check out earlier, so I'll give you a nice little sample of those. But this library is just full to the brim with sounds, and I feel I'll be spending a lifetime trying to get through all of them. I've given you a tiny taster of everything, and I've done my best to cut it down to give a nice overview of what you're getting with Kepler 2, but I am honestly impressed with just how much they've shoved into this. It's a beautifully crafted library with tons of flexibility. You can make it your own. It's a great toolkit to just add those trailer effects to make an epic score, to add some texture or rhythm to an already existing track, or just give it that little sugar coating with something from this. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments. What do you think of Kepler 2? If you're a Kepler 1 user, what do you think of the update with Kepler 2? As I said, I sadly didn't review it when it came out at the time where I used it, but I must admit I am seriously impressed with the quality and quantity that you're getting with this library. But thank you so much for watching, especially if you've managed to make it through this entire video. But I'll see you in the next video.